Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and thank you for tuning on to DBS Television for this edition of the news. Let's begin with our headlines. Restoring public order in the city of Douala and notably in marketplaces is appearing to be a more difficult task than expected. This as traders openly show challenge to the city authorities' methods in achieving this objective. Still in conflict, late Mayor of Njombe Penja, Paul Eric Kinge, has been laid to an eternal rest today. His burial, however, witnessed an unexpected turnout as mourners clashed with forces of law and order in this part of the country. Details of these stories and more would be yours shortly in the news in full. Good evening once more and welcome back to the news on DBS Television with me, Cynthia Nguemo. Thanks for choosing us to inform you. In the news today, Douala Council authorities alongside law enforcement orders in the city have had a clash with traders of the Douala Central Market over an issue related to restoring order within the city. During these clashes, a number of traders ended with some injuries but are still determined to carry on with their protest regarding the method used in achieving this objective. Details of the story with Mange Venasius.
In order to curb the ever-growing urban disorder within the city of Douala, council authorities of Douala II municipality, in collaboration with the Douala City Council, have taken the fight to the Douala main market, a section that is mostly occupied by tailors and seamstresses at the explanade of the post office has been meticulously shared out by 1 meter square per individual. These spaces will be at the sum of 100,000 francs per year paid to the council, a situation which these traders find it difficult to swallow.
We were here ever since long time ago without a problem. We come here those on Monday last week, Monday day before yesterday. We come there, draw the squares. Each of the squares says, they say one square will be 100,000. We cannot afford it. We are the simple hustlers. I'm here like a day. I cannot have the sum of 2,000. How can I afford the place of 100,000? We can't end this. Please, people should look about this our problem. We can't do it without you people. Please, government, look about our problem and help us. Please, I beg you people, by God's name.
Going by their argument, it would imply that their daily fee paid to the council comes down to about 297 francs a day. Council authorities indicate that laid down rules stipulate that these traders, when paid the amount, will be exonerated from all other taxes. Even at that, these traders are not in accord with the measure. The traders also raise another issue where some well-placed traders occupying shops in the main market still come out to collect the spaces and then resell to them at a comparatively expensive rate. The lack of understanding between the two parties led to flaring tempers, and forces of law and order stepped in to restore order, a process that saw some traders sustaining injuries. Even at that, these traders are not ready to stand back.
Still in the littoral region, Paul Eric Kinge, who is the deceased mayor of the Njombe Penja, has been laid to rest in his native land, Penja, today. This man had passed away unexpectedly, with the cause of his death still unrevealed. His corpse, which had been laid at the mortuary of Lakentini Hospital in Douala, was removed this morning and then prepared and taken out for burial. It is reported that security forces used tear gas to disperse mourners who had gathered at the late mayor's residence to see his mortal remains before burial. They requested that his corpse be paraded around the municipality before burial. The mourners also refuted official reports that he died of COVID-19, which also implies that he had to be buried in strict compliance with COVID-19 barrier measures. In this same line, members of parliament in Cameroon and the National Assembly are equally bereaved following the sudden passing away of one of the members of parliament, who is Honorable Prince Mikodi. He reportedly passed away earlier on today at the Yaoundé General Hospital after suffering from illness. Honorable Mikodi was an MP from Bomba Ngoko in the East region. He was equally a member of the Committee on Economic Affairs, Programming and Regional Planning at the National Assembly of Cameroon. Not talking about a sad memory, now we move on to another memory of a dead, but which however brings joy to Cameroonians, and which says March 24, 2020 to March 24, 2021. It is exactly 1 year since the passing away of Cameroon's music legend, notably of soul Makossa, and equally saxophonist MANU DIBANGO. The cultural world still feels the pain of his death to be very fresh. In the following report, Mange Venasius leads us to revisit the memory and career of MANU DIBANGO.
Emmanuel DIBANGO Njoke, 24th of March 2020 to 24th of March 2021. 1 year since the world, and Cameroon in particular, was deprived from the talented saxophonist popularly known as MANU DIBANGO. MANU shone to public eyes in 1972 with his single Soul Makossa, a mixture of jazz, Makossa and soul music that ultimately marked the turning point in his career, catapulting him into the limelight of popular music, especially in North America, where his soul Makossa disco hit sold more than 100,000 copies. It was famously paraphrased by Michael Jackson at the end of his 1982 release. This very piece influenced popular music hits like The Cole and the Gang's Jungle Boozy, the 1982 parody song by comedian Eddie Murphy, and the 1990 hip-hop group Poor Righteous Teachers. These gave him a wide popularity in which he undertook collaborative projects with musicians representing an array of Afro-Caribbean, African, and African-American popular music genre. African big names in artistic world attest of having collaborated with MANU DIBANGO, such as Youssou N'Dour from Senegal, King Sunny Ade from Nigeria, Salif Keita from Mali, Angelique Kidjo from Benin, the Ladysmith Black Mambosa from South Africa, and many others. Back home, MANU DIBANGO broke the generational gap and worked with artists like Douleur, Lapiro Dembanga, Richard Bona, Mpenda Ndale, Henry Njo, Guy Sange, Saleh John, and many others. Coupled with his stage and studio activities, MANU DIBANGO composed music for films and televisions. Born on the 12th of December 1933 in Douala, Cameroon, Emmanuel DIBANGO Njoke died on the 24th of March 2020 from COVID-19 in Melun, near Paris in France, at the age of 86.
Mesdames, Mesdemoiselles, Messieurs, c'était un plaisir.
May his soul continue to rest in peace. From a journey down memory lane of mixed feelings of both nostalgia and joy, we now move on to a purely joyful one for Cameroon People's Democratic Movement, CPDM, as it celebrates 36 years, its 36th anniversary this March 24, 2021. The event this year is not marked with the usual celebrations because of COVID-19, barrier measures. In the following report, our reporter Ate Bonaventure talks to Hamadu Inusu, who is one of the members of the CPDM Central Committee. Here is his report.
The 36th anniversary of the ruling CPDM party has been celebrated low-key given the context of the COVID-19 pandemic.
We are following the directives of the Secretary General of the Central Committee that requires every militant to lay emphasis on the fight against the coronavirus. We also have to follow the barrier measures.
The party can, however, boast of major achievements in economic, political, social, and other domains.
In terms of institutions and infrastructure, much has been done. For instance, the Kribi Deep Seaport, which is a huge and profitable investment to boast of.
Sur le plan de vivre ensemble,
According to the party's bigwig, Cameroon is experiencing democracy and freedom of expression thanks to the goodwill of its national president, Paul Biya, who doubles as head of state. The political institution has also passed through troubled moments and faced strong opposition, especially in the 90s. The celebration comes at the wake of regional elections that marks a turning point in the decentralization process.
We now take you to the National Assembly, where road safety has been the major topic of debate in the first plenary session which took place. Ate Bonaventure, once again in the following report, tells us that several members of government were involved in the debate. His report.
Certains de ces textes sont en cours de réaménagement, voire d'actualisation.
According to the Minister of Transport, road accidents is the lead cause of death among youths under the age of 25, even though the rate has dropped from 1,588 in 2011 to 629 in 2019. Despite this 60% regression, the number of deaths recorded between 2020 and 2021 remains a cause for concern. This is the main subject of the first plenary session of the National Assembly this Tuesday. It has been recognized that much has been realized in terms of road safety, but much still needs to be done to ameliorate the state of roads and vehicles and control over speeding.
It is therefore the hope of us members of the network that coming together today, Parliament and governments will be able to determine the state of affairs and live there with a common vision on safe mobility for all.
It has been a heated debate between some lawmakers and the Minister of Public Works, whose presentation on the expansion of the national road network by more than 123 kilometers still raises doubts.
MPs, especially of the network for road safety, will continue to play our role, and only our role, which is to accompany the government in the achievement of its goal under the Sustainable Development Goals and the new UN ticket for action on road safety 2021 to 2030.
Government officials who also took the floor during the plenary include the Ministers of Justice, Public Health, and the Secretary of State for Defense in charge of the National Gendarmerie. The take-home message is that it is incumbent for all stakeholders in the road sector to put hands on deck to make our roads safe and free from calamities.
After his arrest in 2014 following his dismissal as Director General of Cameroon's National Radio and Television, today Professor Gervais Mendoza is a free man. This follows a presidential clemency given to him yesterday, March 23, 2021. He was slammed a 20-year jail term by the Special Criminal Court for embezzlement, and he had been serving his jail term at the Kondengi prison in Yaoundé for 7 years. It is believed that the presidential pardon granted him is in relation to his critical state of health, that he was widely mediatized and his death was even rumored. The president thus ordered his release as well as his evacuation for treatment out of Cameroon. This is according to reports. And now in news out of Cameroon, President Denis Sassou Nguesso of the Republic of Congo has been re-elected to rule the country for a 4th term. This was after he won over 88% of votes in Sunday's presidential election. And in Libya, the interim administration has officially handed over power to the new government of the country. Details of this in the following with Rogea Tububa.
The Republic of Congo's veteran president Denis Sassou Nguesso has been re-elected with 88.57% of votes, according to provisional results released last evening. His landslide first-round victory announced by the Interior Minister had been widely expected. Sunday's ballot had been boycotted by the main opposition and overshadowed by the death of his main rival, Guy Brice Parfait Kolela, who reaped 7.84% of vote. The ballot saw a 67.55% voter turnout. The presidential elections results can be appealed to the Constitutional Court. Libya's Eastern administration has officially handed over power to a new executive led by interim Prime Minister Abdul Hamid Dbeibah that is meant to unify the war-torn country and steer it towards election. Tuesday handover of power took place at the seat of the parallel Eastern government in Libya's second city. Dbeibah was sworn in last week after Parliament approved his cabinet in a move hailed by key leaders and foreign powers. The interim executive faces intimidating challenges to unify the country's institutions, end a decade of fighting marked by international interference, and prepare for elections on December 24. President Emmanuel Macron said France will reopen its embassy in the Libyan capital next week.
That's the end of the news on DBS Television. Thank you for watching and have a great time on DBS Television until we meet again tomorrow. Good night.